Hello, sorry. Um, okay, I'm so sorry. Mihaela, are you here? We'll go ahead and do yours really quick and then do Jen's because I think you just had one question. And Jen, I don't know how many you had. I'm sorry, we got Jen has three. So I won't even chat a lot. Mihaela, are you here? I'm sorry. We went to do a ropes course thing and then somebody got stuck. So we were waiting a while. We should have been back. I apologize. Mihaela, are you here? Is anyone here? Anyone? Who's here? Okay, thank you, Jen. Okay, if you want to go ahead and ask your questions, I don't know if Mihaela's here. And I'll email Mihaela. Maybe I'll just answer hers over email because I feel bad. Oh, you're here. Okay. So you're sent yours via email. Okay, quick ask your hi Kay. Mihaela, why don't you quick ask your question? I'm so sorry, guys. Hi, Francis. You sent your question yesterday? Okay, let me look. I just saw the money. I didn't see the question. Is it in the did you put it in the post? Let me double check. Okay, sent hers yesterday. Yes, I saw your payment yesterday. Okay, so let's hurry. Mihaela, do you have a question? Why don't you ask your question? Oh, here it is. My question is about my job. I'm a teacher in kindergarten. I like to be around children, but I don't feel that this kindergarten is the better choice for me. Oh, kindergarten's tough. I like to know if I will find another job in which I will feel happy and I will have good income and a chance for development. I do feel like it actually. Do they have schools over there that are like first through third grade or something? Because I feel like I'm in that age range, and I feel like that's easier. Kindergarten is so hard. It is really like I was talking with some other teachers and friends about it, and it's like they're like babies. You're really like kindergarten is really just about like it's still a lot about development, right? Um, but immediately I felt like yes, you will, and I actually feel like it'll just be like moving up to first grade next year. But do you have schools over there that are like first through third grade? And I do feel like it's like this next year. I don't feel like there's a big wait. I don't feel like you're swimming around. I feel like there's a job for you. Um, does this resonate when I say that? So I think there might be a delay here. Because so when you ask where is it, I don't know cities in the UK or towns. So to me, I feel like it's a feeling of being across the street. So not far from where you live or not far from where you're actually teaching now. To a more higher grade. Yeah. So it's like I feel like I'm at a more higher grade, but I don't feel like I'm so much higher. I don't feel like I'm working with teenagers. I feel like I'm a little bit older in elementary school. And I have to tell you, there's such a difference. Even when I look at my kids, there's such a big difference between kindergarten and even second graders. Kindergarten, they're babies still. And it really is like it is a very niche grade to teach. Like you really have to have a certain type of personality to teach as much as to teach kindergarten as like middle school age, like the seventh and eighth graders. They're tough too. Those are two really tough ages. So I'm getting like being in a school of that's like first to third grade. So I don't know if that's how it breaks up there, but it's like that age range where I'm going. And it feels like again, I feel like I find it's fine. And it's like it feels like just the change in the age feels like a weight of like not feeling like there's just like a weight taken off, like a release. Great job, Kay, for not vaping. Let me look at Jen's questions because I know she needs to rush too. But I would not panic or worry at all. I feel like this is like you'll be fine. You'll be able to. I don't know that you'll do that forever because you're looking at like what's forever and like professionally and financially. Financially, I feel like you're fine. So I'm not. There's not a concern there. I would say in like 10 years is when you feel like, I don't know if it's because you get additional credentials or what. I feel like that's where I'm kind of moving up and maybe even working with older kids at that point. Hi, Regine. Okay, so Jen, let me get your questions. A big revelation came out around Friday around Matt connection and don't want to go into it, and it's out in the open and frustrating that many didn't pick up on this energy before, but it is what it is. My question for the first question is, how is Matt feeling processing since confronting me? To do the next 6 to 8 months look like now with this connection? Okay, so all right. So you said he's not doing the self-concept work that I thought he was. As much as you may not, I think he is looking at himself and acknowledging it. It may not be the steps of where you want it to be. How is he feeling and processing since you're confronting him? I don't feel like he's processing. I think he's sitting and stewing. So, okay. I don't see an apology forthcoming soon. I mean, so it's like, it's funny that that text is so big, by the way. It's like you're screaming it at me and the rest is smaller. Okay. So if we look at, I'm going to say this, remember, I'm just reading the energy and the trajectory of where it's at this point. So that need to like confront him and deal with it and do all that stuff, it sort of put it in this path of like, a different path. Hi, Rathka. Okay, Francis, I'll look for it in a minute. Right. I said you confronted him. My advice, I'm not saying no future connection. It's just that your energy is so much like this. Like it's not in this like ignoring. I know this is terrible, but ignoring the 3D and just being like in your head of like this is all fine. This will work out. Yours is like you're already have a story in your head. So it's like I'm reading the energy of all of that and where it's going. Um, it's not that it can't. I just it's you having to work on where you're at. Like instead of being like, is this going to happen? You have to sort of get into the space of like, this is happening. I don't care what the 3D says. This is happening. Your energy right now is so like, I've taken a stand. I also feel like he sort of is looking at it at this point of like him being the victim. Like reverting back kind of thing. When will he process it? I mean, he's slow. So here's the thing, I keep getting 6, but I also keep seeing July being significant. So I don't know that he's going to come back and apologize, but there's something about July still. And here's the other thing is like I'm reading this, I'm like, what do you think you're like, I don't see him doing this. I'm just reflecting back to you here. You found out about Brenda. Okay. I'm not surprised if he did. There's something about July, that's all I can say, but it's like when you say, "I don't see this happening," you're already energetically like, I'm just reading where your energy is going, remember? So it's like, if you're in that mode, you're sending the freight train in that direction. So some of that is like, if you energetically can't see it happening, it's like that's the destiny of it. It can't happen. I don't know any other way to say it. Yeah. So there's something about July is what I'm getting. I don't know if it's that. Um, so his dad's health issues. His dad, I feel like really tight in my heart. I don't know exactly what happens in July. So I don't even want to try and like lead it down a story because I just keep getting shown there's something about I think 6 weeks, so that might put us in July, but there's something about July. So, but I don't want to go down and give a story of like how it actually happens or whatever, because I don't know and they're not showing me. But they're showing me something significant about July. And I don't want to make a story to that I can't stand firm of because that's not what I'm getting. His dad's health. Does he have cardiac issues? Because I felt really tight in my heart when I said his name and kind of thought about him. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it's like congestive heart failure. And I just read your third question, so I'll go. I'm kind of bounce back and forth a little bit. He may start to this past week. He's been really weak and in and out of hospital. There's something with his heart, And I wouldn't be surprised if he's got like an output issue, a cardiac output issue, like he's not able, that it would end up being some kind of heart failure issue. He has congestive heart failure. Yeah. So I don't feel like it's going to get better. I don't feel like he's a candidate for a transplant or like it doesn't feel like a miracle recovery. I'm happy to be wrong on this, right? So it just feels like it feels like this has been going on for a while and he sort of ignored his health stuff. So as much as they say, oh, it's a surprise, I don't think it's that big of a surprise. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's like congestive heart failure or like there's like a low ejection fraction where he just doesn't, his heart is not able to put out what it needs to. And then as far as your love life, honestly, I don't see a whole lot. It feels a little stagnant, but I think a lot of that's just like you kind of doing some inner work, healing, and that kind of stuff. It doesn't mean you won't ever go on any dates or anything this year. I just don't see anything really sparking you right now. And it doesn't mean that also things won't recover with Matt. I just feel like, again, some of that is also mindset stuff, like where you're like, sometimes we become so hardened by somebody. It's like, okay, so I believe that you can change, you can manifest anything, you can manifest your SP back, all of that stuff, right? Your specific person, and you can have them change. But I also feel like, for me, I don't know if this is for anybody else, but for me, sometimes when it's been so much, it comes to a point where you're like, I know that I can turn that person around, but I don't know how much work that is. And I don't know that I can do that work. Like, while it's possible. So it's sort of that feeling of being in that state where you're sort of like, you've got a wall up. So it would be like, I don't know that you'll end up back together. And again, this is like, I did see it before, but when an energy shifts and a mindset shifts, it can shift that dramatically and rapidly. Yeah. And so it's like, and unfortunately, when someone does something like that, it's not just a trust issue with them, then it always feels like a trust issue going forward. So I highly recommend to continue to do the affirmation work and the self-concept stuff that you've been doing and listening to the affirmations and like learning to like that you can trust yourself, like, because if which I do believe it is, the world shows up the way you feel. If that is the case, if you don't work on that self-concept work or that also the belief system around what love is and how people are, then you're going to create similar instability in other relationships where you're worried about everything they do and like how they say and how they act and how they respond and what does that mean. Let me just make a list. I'm sorry, Jen. Okay, so I got Kayla, Regine, Ka- I'm sorry. Okay. All right. So I'm assuming you need to go. So let's see. So Kay, what's your question? Oh, you posted it up. I'm sorry. I'm a little spacey. I'm a little tired. Okay, to fix my health, any surgery to remove. Oh, wait, hang on. Sorry. I've been working on my health. I stopped vaping, which I'm so happy you did. I'm battling health issues, so I'm getting blood work and my pelvic exam done, showing hyperthyroidism. What do I think the doctor will recommend? You have a cyst on your ovary. Is that what you're saying? It's interesting. So with your thyroid, I don't feel like they're going to do, like, there's some treatments where they'll like remove the thyroid or try to kill the thyroid altogether or something like that. I don't feel that. I feel like it's weird because I don't understand this. So I'm trying to explain it the way I understand it. And this may not be exactly what it is, but it's like where they laser off part of it, like an ablation of part of it to see if that like resets it, is the feeling I get. Um, yeah. But I don't know if they fully like, so I have my friend's wife had to have her, like, they killed it with, like, they did iodine or something, like some big iodine thing, and basically killed her entire thyroid, and then she was having like these issues afterwards. I don't feel like that. Like, I keep feeling like they're the way I'm showing it, I don't know that this is really how they do stuff, but it's a way for them to show me kind of an explaining it, is like they're taking a laser and just like shaving off part of it. I don't even know if that makes sense. Let's see. I don't know if that makes any sense at all to say that. And I'm not sure that there's a medicine. Oh, there is a medicine. Um, oh, there is okay. So there is a surgery to remove part of the thyroid, a partial thyroidectomy. I think that's what they might end up doing. It doesn't mean they're not going to try stuff ahead of time, but I think they may end up removing part of it. Um, I don't, but also I want you to know, like, for something like that, make sure that you go to the hospital and say, I don't have insurance. And they usually have indigent care funds. So get connected with um, somebody to see if they have help for that. You can start looking around for that, like kind of talking to them, say, I might need this. Are there options? Um, because I know I know that they have resources. I know when I worked at Texas Children's Hospital, which I shouldn't admit where I used to work, they had huge endowments, and they did use some of those endowments towards indigent care. I mean, like crazy endowments to the hospital, and a lot of hospitals do. So look into that. I'm happy to say medicine will work. I'm not sure that it will. I think that's the route they'll first go. I'm not sure that it will because they showed me lasering off part of it. So I guess that's a partial thyroidectomy. I didn't know that they did those. And I don't know the cost. I'm sorry. So I want to say this too. I don't think it's in your ovaries. I think there is a cyst in your ovaries, but that I don't feel like is what's causing the amount of weight loss. And I don't think they'll do anything about the cyst. Is that a question or a statement? I think it would be your thyroid that needs the surgery. Yes. That's what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. It's okay. You're welcome. Oh, I'm so glad that you told me that. I really am because it is so terrible for your body. So I'm glad you did that for yourself because you deserve that. The last 2 weeks have been rough. My energy has been really down. May 8 immigration appointment didn't go so well. Do you see the outcome for my naturalization and the green card? I heard it was funny. It's like, I think I told you were going to have low energy, didn't I? I don't remember. Um, I think that I know this is dumb, but I really do feel like it went better than your. We have to do mindset work. We have to do mindset work because I'm looking at everybody. I'm like, okay, but such an a-hole of me to say that. But so it's like, okay, I don't feel like it went as bad as you did, but you're taking the perspective of it. Like, so it's like, oh, it was so much worse than it, or it's like, it was so terrible. Um, I do feel like you're going to get naturalization. I don't feel like that's going to be an issue. But I also think it's important to be like, it went fine. Like, I know it sounds delusional, but it is like, it went fine. Everything went great. I already have this. It's like really digging in to do the mindset work and like literally it sounds stupid, but ignoring totally what's in front of you. And I know that's easier said than done. But I do feel like it'll go okay. Um, I'm gonna ask this because I'm gonna tell you. I feel like it's like you fumbled a question here or there or whatever, and maybe they didn't have the right like hold their face the right way, and so you felt like you did something terrible, but they didn't actually say it went bad. Does that make sense when I say that to you, or does that resonate? I just think you got the stickler and the person who's like doesn't hold a poker face. Hmm. So relax. You're going to go in and you're going to lie to yourself right now. You're going to reframe that because you're either way, you're lying to yourself because I really don't feel like it went as bad as you think it did. I just think you got that person that has a little bit more of a grumpy face. And, the next person I feel like will be nicer. So it totally went well. That person just has a grumpy face. I'm not worried about it. Everything went fine. The next meeting is going to go great. I'm going to have a nicer person. It's so much better. I knew it was a she. The next person is going to have a better energy about her. Okay. Maybe a gay man, actually. But just because I'm thinking it might be actually where he's just got this really warm, friendly energy. And it's has a lot of mothering energy about him. So, and I feel like he would be like, oh, yeah, you got her. Oh, she is that way. Oh, everybody feels that way when they come in here. Don't worry. Like, that's the feeling I get around this one for the next meeting. So please, please, please reassure yourself now that it's not, you're okay. I heard you're here to stay. Okay. Hi, Julia. The office. He closed it last week for a couple of weeks. You're going to reopen. Um, you'll reopen. Don't worry. You'll reopen. Don't. Um, it feels like after Memorial Day, you'll have a better idea. Like June 1st, you'll have a better idea of what's going on. He's in a pretty strong depression. I also feel like he's never really taken a lot of time off of work. There's something with money there, like mishandled money too. But I do feel like I don't feel like he's not going back to work. And I do feel like he would have you just because it'd be the ease of having somebody set stuff up that knows what they're doing. He has mediations on the 28th. So that's why I feel like that's right. That's Memorial Day weekend. So I feel like by June 1st, you'll know what's going on. I saw that. I saw the second question. Oh, okay. Thank you, Rathka. Oh, I'm so glad I made you feel better. Okay. Naif, do you want to go? Or is it Naif or Naif? Wait, somebody said they paid under their husband's name. So I think that's actually your husband's name. Let me see. I'm so sorry that I didn't put your name in. No, no, no. Francis. I think that's you. Francis, are you ready? Okay. Do you wanna ask your question? Hi. You're feeling very overwhelmed. No judgment here. Trust me. When you do enough of these readings, you just see people are people, things are things. I had somebody tell me the other day, they're like, don't judge me. I was like, oh, I don't care. Oh, she was worried about that she slept with somebody really early on after meeting them. I was like, I don't care. Like, oh, honey. That's a hard feeling, huh? You're Filipino working in Saudi Arabia, married to a Saudi Arabia man. He's been out of work for 5 years. Are you a nurse by chance? I think I used to be a nurse and I worked with a ton of Filipino women. And the women were always nurses. Some of the men were nurses, but a lot of them were respiratory therapists. And they would all work and they would send money back home to send their family members and their friends to school. And then they would all come over. He's been out of work for 5 years and you feel bad for him. Yeah. Your family's good back home. Yeah. And why do you feel God has forgotten you? I promise God hasn't. I promise the universe. Sometimes we just go through really hard times. You feel overwhelmed. I just had my first meal of the day. Oh my. Oh my. Is that from just working so much and taking care of everybody? I do feel like your husband, I feel does he have health issues? Because I feel like something around his heart. And then we're going to focus on you too. Don't worry. You care for street cats. Feed them daily. You have 6 rescues. That's a lot. And we both feed the street cats twice a day. So here's my question. Or here's my comment. You're allowed to bring up whatever you want here. That's okay. We have space for that. Don't worry. And this is a really, really good group of people. I'm so lucky. And we all have space for you here. Okay? You come home from work and do all the house chores. What's your husband doing during the day? Or does he have, you take care of the 6 cats, the laundry and the cleaning? What does your husband do during the day when you're at work? Yeah. I can imagine you're overwhelmed and tired, but I promise God has not forsaken you. So what you're going to do is you're going to start being compassionate with yourself and loving on yourself. And I know that there's also some cultural stuff here. So there might be some cultural boundaries where, or barriers where, and I don't know enough about it, but where he may feel like that's your job to take care of the house. I feel like it's really important for you to do so, to put some things for yourself first. So make sure you get fed. Feed yourself before you feed the cats. The cats will be okay. I promise. They may be annoying and harass you, but you feed yourself first, because you cannot give and give and give to others when you don't fill yourself up first. So this is taking care of yourself as basic self-care. I want you to start telling yourself to take care of yourself the way you would tell your patients that they need to take care of themselves. You deserve that and you are worth it. It has to start there. And give yourself permission to do that. And if anybody gets grumpy about it, you say, listen, if I'm not in a good place, we don't eat. Meaning you're bringing the money in. If you're not in a good place, nobody eats. So you need to eat and take care of your energy, take care of your space. You can do those things for the cats. And then you can say, and again, this might be a barrier, like a cultural thing where I know that some cultures are different. So I'm recognizing that this might be a little bit of a stretch. But think of ways that your husband can help out, the things that he can do to take off of your plate. Maybe he's not a chores person, but can he cook? Can he take, what can he take care of? I don't want to look too far in the future on this one, because I feel like really what's really important here is the baby steps in the beginning to help make that change. And I don't see it like a big drastic change immediately. I feel like it's little things over time. You are a good person. Oh my God. Oh my God, you are such a good person. You have not been forsaken. So I really believe that our beliefs create our realities. And I have been a people pleaser person where I put everybody and everything ahead of myself. And when I started to put myself first a little bit, it got easier, because then the weight didn't feel so heavy on me. So I'm very serious about this. It's very important to put yourself in first and think you're not selfish if you need to feed yourself first, right? It's like when you're on an airplane and they say, put the oxygen mask over your face first and then help the person next to you. Because if you're passed out and can't, or if you're not getting enough oxygen, how are you able to help anybody else? So it's okay to take care of yourself and put yourself first. And I feel like by doing that, you start to feel less pressure. You are a very good person. A person who is a bad person would not be just so generous and taking care of cats off of the street. You know, that's not, a bad person doesn't do that, because there is no, other than knowing that you're just taking care of these other beings and they give you gratitude. If you're a bad person, the only reason that you do good works is so that other people notice. Nobody's really noticing about the cats. Like, right, this is not like the cats give you gratitude, but there's no big accolades there. Bad people don't do that. And it's okay to not help everybody else. So it's okay to say, like, I can't do that because you need to rest. And you don't owe anybody an explanation. It's okay to just to say no. That doesn't make you a bad person. Because again, if you are on empty, you don't have quality to give to anybody else. I just heard, and stop offering to help when you're not asked. So I have a feeling you see people and you want to rescue them. And so you're like, oh, I can do that. Oh, let me take care of that. And it's like, don't do that. Don't fix things for other people. Let them figure out. Let them ask for help if they need it, but don't just jump into it. That's a hard one to learn when you're a people pleaser. I learned something and it really stuck with me as a former people pleaser to realize that, you know how we learn through our mistakes? Like, that's really in life where we really learn. And if you're constantly trying to stop somebody from making a mistake or rescue them or help them or show them a better way or trying to stop them having to suffer at all, you're actually taking away their opportunity to learn and grow. And when I thought of it that way, I was like, oh, I don't want to do that. Like that, I feel like that's not really great either. You want people to learn and grow. Does he have heart issues? Because I felt really tight in my heart when I connected with his energy. So I'm going to say this. I feel like he needs to watch his blood pressure then. I do feel that as well. It still feels like I don't see a job in it right away. It still feels like maybe I'm getting 5. So I don't know. I know there was the 5 years without, but I don't want to say it's 5 months, but it might be 5 months before he gets a job. And I feel like it'll be something that sticks. It may not be what his hopes and dreams are, but it feels like it's a stepping stone to get him back into it. You're never praying the wrong way. You're never praying the wrong way. I really believe that there is no one way to God. I believe that all religions lead us there. All belief systems lead us there. There is no separation. Talk to God like a friend. Thank God for bringing him a job. Even though it's not here yet, just say, thank you. I'm so grateful he has a job. I'm so grateful he has income. I'm so grateful he's feeling better. I'm so grateful. Just start talking that way. God has not forsaken you. And there is no wrong. I used to think, I used to be a Christian. Now I just believe in God. But I used to think that there was a right way to pray. And when I first started going to church, I was like, I'm doing it wrong. I'm doing it wrong. There's someone other people knew Bible verses, whatever. And then I just started talking to God, just like God, just like a friend. I didn't put God up on a pedestal in reverence or anything like that. I just like a friend. I'm really struggling here. These kind of things are going on. So wherever you feel like you need to be is the right place to be. And I promise you, you're never alone. And even in the Bible, it says, pray as if you've already received it. So pray in gratitude as if you've already received it. So thank you so much for bringing him a job. Thank you so much for offering him an employment. Thank you for allowing me to have a break. I'm so grateful that I'm able to take care of myself and I feel like I have a break. I'm so grateful for, my opportunities to rest and relax a little bit. So pray as if you've already received it. But I promise you, the religion doesn't really matter. But it's really about where you're aligned with and comfortable with. Because God is everywhere in everything, including you, all of the cats that you take care of. You're just fine. You needed this space today, and that's okay. And everybody here totally understands it too. Everybody's needed that space sometime. So it's okay. There's never an apology here. If I didn't have the time for it, I wouldn't take the time for it. And you're never alone. So if you ever just want to come out and hang out here, we're here every Sunday. You don't have to pay for a question. You can just hang out. You can say hello. You can connect with other people. There's a lot of really good people here from all over the world. So we'll all manifest and ask for, that you have strength and you don't feel alone here. You're very welcome. And there's nothing wrong with crying because crying is cathartic. It really does help heal and release energy that should not be pent up. And try not to judge your emotions and how you're feeling because feelings don't make sense. And when we put judgment and shame on ourselves, it sort of puts us in this freeze mode. It's hard to move forward. So be as gentle and graceful with yourself as you would with others and understanding. And it will help you move through this. All right, Rathka, what are your questions? You're very, very, very welcome, Francis. Come back anytime. I know the hours are different, so you might be a little tired to come back at this time, but you are always welcome here. Generally about work, whether on the restorative process I'm in or guidance on getting in clients. It's so interesting because I saw myself just randomly, I felt like I was on the deck of a ship. It reminded me of almost, is there a reason that you would need to be on a ferry with a car, like a car ferry? As far as clients go, it almost feels like thinking outside of the box, right? So I do feel like in the next 6 months, there's going to be like working with universities and working with equity type stuff in universities. I feel like there's going to be big shifts because there's lots of learning that needs to be done, but it feels like maybe within the next 6 months. So it's like somehow connecting with universities. I'll tell you what it looked like to me. So it looked like it was like painted white, and then there was the white bar. So it's all of that steel. Yeah, so that's what it feels like to me. I feel like you working with universities, but it feels like, so it may start before the 6 months, but it feels like this big opening in 6 months. So that might be when you launch stuff. That might be when, I don't know. It might be less than that, but that's a ballpark figure for time. And it feels like working with universities, because I feel like there's going to be, with everything that's going on with Palestine and Israel, there's going to be an like a big shift because of it. I don't feel like there's going to be a barrier to working remote, but I do feel like you'll end up coming back stateside. Actually, I generally wouldn't be surprised if you end up working with Harvard. That might make sense to you. Or an Ivy League school, because I felt East Coast Ivy League. A big yawn. It's been a little bit of a day. No, Cindy, you can ask a question if you want. Well, they might be paying more. I do feel like, and it's not to be like, oh, it's lucrative, whatever, but I feel like given the situation and the way the current climate is, I do feel like within the next 6 months, they're going to be willing to pay to make some changes. And it's, I was about to say it's not, but I keep hearing there is a little bit of performance to it and grandstanding, but it feels like wanting people to know that they're making an effort to make it right. No, Rosa, you can ask a question. Yeah. Hang on. Did I get your pay? I didn't get your payment. Where did you pay, Cindy? Wait, maybe I did. Let me see. Oh, Rosa, these are paid readings. So I don't know if anybody told you that. Oh, not that one. And they're $12 a question, and 30% goes to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. Did you pay on my other PayPal, maybe, Cindy? I'll put, Rosa, if you want me to put my PayPal down, I will. It's in the description, but I can, let me do it this way. For whatever reason, I don't seem to ever type it though. Right. I got you, Cindy. That's for payment. How many are you asking? Or oh no, I get a million notifications when you guys pay me for things. Okay. So Rosa, if you want to pay, here's yours. I got yours, Cindy. I'll pin that to the top. Property I co-manage in South Carolina with my grandmother. What do you see happening with it next year? I actually feel like you sell it. Um, wait, do you, here, let me, because I'm thinking you own it and you co-own it and you own it together. Does that, I just, because I want to make sure I'm asking this right when I'm asking it to them, because I'm like, oh, well, it feels like selling it because I feel like your grandmother can't keep up with it anymore. You co-own it with her. So it's either that, I'm going to put it this way. It's either that she sells her portion to you so that it's all in your name. And that might be because of like future thinking, not wanting potentially a portion of that to have to go to, um, I don't know if it's like assisted living or something like that. Um, so it might not be that you sell the property entirely, but she's selling her portion to you. But that's kind of, I think that might be actually what's happening. You changed it completely. So, uh, right, but I feel like it just feels like there might be some loophole. So this is what I'm saying. It's like, or she sells it to you so that way she doesn't have to deal with it. Like there's some part of it of like a change in ownership, but I don't know that you're selling your part. So I don't know if it's that like there's a worry that if she goes into a nursing home that would be considered property for her, like like what do they call it, part of the estate, her estate, to pay for that stuff ahead of time. So I don't know if that's why it happens that way. And she may not, it may not be like that you're buying the whole plot of land. Like she may sell it to you for $1 or something like that, but it's more out of like knowing that she'll be taken care of, but it's like to cover the loophole. So I don't feel like she's in terrible health or she dies or anything like that. It feels like making the decision before maybe she starts to get where she can't take care of herself, because there's a, look into it, because there's a time frame like that it has to be done before a certain, like, so I can't like go, oh, I know my mom's gonna have to go in a nursing home in 2 months, so she's gonna put her house in my name, because they'll still consider that as like a whatever. There's like a time frame. Yeah. So I think that might be what happens. I don't know. I don't fully understand it, so I don't know. Unless I don't know if maybe it's where she puts her half into a trust, like a living trust versus being in her name. It might be something like that. But I feel like there's a change in it, or maybe you all put it into a living trust and then you don't have to worry about the capital gains thing. I don't fully understand it, but that's just what I'm seeing is there is a shift. I don't feel like it just stays status quo, but I don't know that you're selling it completely out of your hands either. And I don't know enough about all of that stuff to like have a big grasp of it and be like, oh, they're showing me doing X, Y, and Z. But it just feels like there's something around that. Okie doke. I think that's it. I don't think, I'm guessing Rosa didn't want to pay, and that's okay. No shame. If you guys want to ask some general questions, I'm not going to stay on too long today. I'm having a little bit of a rough day, so you might be able to tell my energy is not super peppy right now. You're very welcome. Okay. Well, no one's talking, so I'm sorry. I guess I'll say good night. Hope you guys have a really good week. And I'll be back next weekend. We don't have any plans, I don't think. So I will see you then. Okay. Have a good one.